Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Well, reactions have been pouring in from the much discussed Aam Aadmi, and the common man doesn't seem to be too happy either. Our executive editor Sanjay Pinto was joined by Mr. Venkatesh, a chartered accountant and author, and Mr. Kumar, and he got their perspective on what this budget really means for the common man.
To let the experts rest, let the politicians, I know they have a lot of brownie points to score in an election season here. So we've decided to go to people who really matter. We've decided to get the common man here, a salaried employee here, Mr. NSM Kumar, who's here in our studio. We've also decided to go to a chartered accountant and author, Mr. M.R. Venkatesh, to give us really a sense of what this budget means. Mr. Venkatesh, first to you. I know you've also authored a book on the Sensex. Tell us, sir, what does this actually mean for the common man? Because this 1.8 lakh IT exemption limit seems to be some relief, but what is it really translated to into the actual wallet of that salaried employee?
Mr. Sanjay, look at it this way. If your basic exemption goes up by 20,000 rupees from 1.6 to 1.8, you get 20,000 rupees of exemption. At a 10% slab, that roughly translates to 2,000 rupees of tax bill cut, which per month translates to like 160 rupees per month, which means 5 or 5.5 rupees per day, which will be perhaps be sufficient to get you a single tea. So that is the largesse that the finance minister has given to the taxpayers.
All right. Just about enough for a single tea. I'm told even a single tea with the milk prices and all going up, even you won't even get
8 o'clock, 8 rupees, Sanjay, now.
8 rupees.
Good tea is 8 rupees. Totally for the salaried middle class like me, it is a disappointing budget and a directless budget as far as this.
What did you expect? You can't really expect the finance minister to be a magician here.
Yeah.
What did you really expect? How much income?
Finance minister, see what is happening. He wants to create a new class of 80 plus. But he wants to punish all the senior citizens by imposing service tax on
We'll come to that. But as far as the income tax limit is concerned, how much
do
you expect?
It should have been 2 lakhs long ago.
2 lakhs long.
Minimum 2 lakhs long ago. With double-digit food inflation, do we think a middle class can survive with all these?
What does your wife have to say?
Pardon?
What does your wife have to say about the budget?
Wife is very much annoyed. She is not even able to manage the vegetable prices. She says the finance minister has let us down on both the ways, on health as well as on food prices.
He's not really felt the pulse, so the pulse is really...
Let's
go back to Mr. M.R. Venkatesh. Mr. Venkatesh, again, senior citizens have got some relief, in fact, even Ms. Jayalalitha has given the finance minister credit. They're calling it imaginative, if you've actually read that statement, which is issued a short while ago. Bringing down the age from 65 to 60, making them, eligible for benefits there. Also increasing the limit from 2.4 lakh to 2.5 lakh, creating that new class of very senior citizens, which Pranab Mukherjee is yet to reach, as he said jocularly in Parliament, 80 plus, 5 lakh exemption. That's some relief, surely.
Exactly. These are all good measures, but the number of beneficiaries are going to be so small. In India, not more than 3.5% are taxpayers of the entire population, of which the number of people who are going to be in the age of around 60 plus is going to be far less, and those who are above 80 plus, when our average age, the longevity is less than 70. Very rarely you will come across somebody who is around 80 and earning an income above or close to 5 lakh rupees to get this type of benefits. So these are all good gestures. You can applaud them. You can say these are philosophical. You can just say that the finance minister has a larger section of his population in his mind, in his radar, but nothing.
All right, but actually maybe politicians are benefited. I mean, large number of politicians are probably reaching that age.
Yeah, perhaps people like Mr. Ramjit Malani, whom I know is around 87, active and is also in active profession, could be one of the beneficiaries. But beyond that, if you look at it, I don't see any number of people who are going to be substantially benefited. This is not the definition of Aam Aadmi is not somebody who is 80 plus earning 5 lakhs. Definitely that is not your definition of Aam Aadmi or the common man.
Mr. Kumar, I want to quote statistics. I mean, 2001 census, more than 80 lakh people are above 80 plus in India.
Yeah.
20.2 lakh live in cities.
Yeah.
63% of them are illiterate.
Yeah,
so clearly there is some relief here. I mean, even if somebody like Ms. Jayalalitha, leader of the opposition in Tamil Nadu, can call it an imaginative step, there's some merit in that. Are we being a little too harsh on the finance minister when he's tried to do something at least?
Now, Sanjay, you have to analyze one thing particularly. He has not done anything for the middle class. See, he has given an exemption of direct taxes to a tune of 11,500 crores. But by the way of indirect taxes, he has taken back 11,200 crores. So the net benefit is only 300 crores.
Let me bring in Mr. Venkatesh back here. Venkatesh, again, hospitals, I mean, it seems to be a slightly bizarre rule here that hospitals, private hospitals which charge a room rent of more than 1,000 rupees a day, they will be subject to service tax. Now, most private hospitals, any decent private hospital will charge much more than 1,000 rupees a day.
Centralized air condition. I don't know what is this. You know, this is the revenge of the babus. You have some type of a hospital where you say that okay, if you have a centralized AC with so many beds, you come and pay service tax. And finally, health is a fundamental right. I don't know whether this is also constitutionally tenable, because you are entitled to some fundamental things. Tomorrow, if you go to the court, the very fact that lawyers have not been taxed as of yet is because you have a right to going to the court on any type of injustice meted out to you by the system. That is why lawyers have been exempt from tax. So similarly, I thought that the reason why you exempted doctors from service tax and other things was that health was a fundamental constitutional guarantee. Now you go and tax you being admitted to hospital, God forbid, but you being admitted to hospital and then you have to pay tax on it. It looks, I think, you know, we are still, you must remember that we are a socialist government under the constitution, and I don't know whether the taxing of health is constitutionally valid.
Now, all budgets are always presented in the run-up to International Women's Day, which begs the question, what has the finance minister done for women? Why is that there's been no separate hike in the exemption limit for women?
That will be there every year, but you see, the whole idea was to merge this, simplification and rationalization meant that the differentiation between the two sexes should be removed, and that is what the DTC, that is the new direct tax code, was talking. And perhaps the finance minister, having thought that he is going to bring about the new taxes next year, he will try and bridge the differential between the male and the female taxpayer. So that's the rationale that has gone behind this, though perhaps women may not like it, but that's it. They have to bear it this time.
We saw one disgruntled, in fact, lady employee there. Mr. Kumar, if you can give us, since we are focusing on the common man here, for the common viewer here, in your own case, your wife, I'm told, is a housewife. How much extra money have you been incurring in the last 6 months or 1 year? And what was the specific relief that you actually sought in the budget, which you've not got and which you're upset about?
Totally nil.
Give us a breakup.
See, for example, you take my family budget, a family of 5. For groceries, we used to spend only 1,800 rupees 6 months back or 1 year back. Today, it is more than double. For even 2,000, see the rate of pulses, see the rate of oil, see the rate of rice, everything is almost double. Come to milk, we used to consume about for 1,500 rupees, 2,000 happily. Now even with 2,500 rupees, we are not able to totally feed my children. Take the case of petrol. I used to fill up my tank just for 600 rupees every month. Today it is 1,200 rupees. And the finance minister has done nothing to cap the food inflation, which is very, very important for a middle class salary man like me. How to
By the way, petrol prices could rise. I mean, there are indications.
Definitely rise, because he is giving exemption only excise. He has never said that automatic mechanism will be withdrawn. So whenever there is a price rise, 2 rupees, 2 rupees, 2 rupees, within a month it will be another 50 rupees increase. Shortly it may be 100 soon.
What about the hospital thing? That's rather
the most horrible thing for a senior citizen. See, the 80+ population is coming down, probably that's our finance minister's guessing. That's the thing, he has given a great presentation to them.
Life expectancy is going up in India. So.
But this 10% service tax is not at all justifiable.
I want to also quote the Madrid International Plan of Action on Aging. In fact, we have ratified that, financial security, healthcare, shelter and protection of the elderly against abuse and exploitation. Does this run counter to that?
Definitely.
The fact that you're taxing.
Definitely. It is not only counter, it is again the very principle what the government has laid. So you want to protect the aged people, you want to punish the son and daughter if they do not care for them. At the same time, when they go to the hospital with sickness, pay the 10% service tax. What is the justification of that, Sanjay? Totally unjustified service tax particularly on the senior citizens and the people above 80+. He should not have created a class and imposed service tax like this. It is not at all justifiable for a middle class.
All right, let's go back to Mr. Venkatesh there. Mr. Venkatesh, again, black money and corruption. He has outlined a few, in fact, a 5-point plan of action. What's your take?
Suddenly, the finance minister, who was all along, a petty shopkeeper accountant, or perhaps a panchayat leader, suddenly became a philosopher when it comes to black money. He waxed eloquence. He said we are unfolding a five-fold strategy, joining the global crusade, creating appropriate legislative framework, setting up institutions, developing systems, imparting skills. These are all vague statements. You can repeat it hundreds of times, but finally the action has to be on the ground. We are not able to get hold of one guy called Hassan Ali who owes 50,000 crores to the government. Now, this is admitted as on 2009. In 2011, his tax bill must have ballooned close to 75,000. Along with his colleagues and his wife, the amount should be around 100,000 crores. Believe me, he and his family owes 100,000 crores. But I have this particular paper with me of the government, which is this receipt budget, and it gives you the statement of tax.
Yeah, sorry to
raised,
interrupt you. I don't want this to sort of, go off at a tangent, Mr. Venkatesh. Sorry to interrupt you. But again, give us very briefly in a sentence your rating of this budget for the common man.
See, the common man did not figure in this budget. This budget was some sort of, a grandfather trying to distribute lollipops to his grandchildren. Whosoever came first got it. It was again a first come first serve basis. Whosoever thought would come and give it and make a presentation before the finance minister, you take 100 crores, you take 10 crores, you take 15 crores, and at the end of the day finance minister doesn't have much to offer concrete. And I think there were in last 20 years I've been following budgets. I think there was a disaster of a budget in 1988 by NDTV, if I remember right. This budget may not shake that position of Mr. NDTV, but comes close to being one of the most insipid budgets in the last 20 years.
All right, strong words there, but thank you very much, Mr. Venkatesh, for joining us from New Delhi. A final word from you, Mr. Kumar, as a common man. Again, of course, see, also we've not talked about home loans.
Yeah.
There's some relief there as well, from 20 to 25 lakh rupees. So he's tried to do something, but you're saying it's precious little.
Sanjay, just now you quoted the statistics for the urban population. Do you think a man can get a flat in a decent area for 25 lakhs? Is it possible? It is crores now. Added to that, how come the banks have increased that lending rate? So one side they are allowing the bank to increase the housing loan lending rate, and other side they are giving.
Do you expect something like, for instance, waiving or reducing the interest on, in fact, tax on interest on fixed deposits?
Only below 25 lakhs. 25 lakhs.
No, I'm talking about fixed deposits, about savings.
Yeah.
Did you expect some kind of waiver of tax on interest on fixed
Particularly
deposits
for the
senior citizens?
Particularly for the senior citizens.
Okay.
And people know.
You're saying that would have been better instead of creating this class of 80 plus?
Because they have to survey on their pension, they have to survey on their savings.
Okay.
That the finance minister should have done at least for senior citizens. Instead of exempt the limit, these exemptions are right to help them at their old age.
All right, just finally to end, in fact, the UN defines a country as aging where the population above 60 is 7%. We already have 7.6%, and by 2025 it's likely to rise to 12.6%. So probably the finance minister had these facts as well.
Well, the common man, their concerns are being overlooked. Well, still ahead on the bulletin, the top cop of the city has sketched a plan for coming elections to go crime-free. We'll bring you that when we come back.